Hello everyone, and welcome to the next edition of the Holland Land Office Museum's Artifact Video Series. My name is Ryan Duffy and I'm the Director of the Museum. And this week we're going to talk about one of our older artifacts here that we have at the museum, and one directly related to the operation of what happened here at the Holland Land Office, and was a direct tool used to help alleviate the process of selling over 3 million acres worth of land. So this week we're actually going to talk about our antique letterpress here that is from about 1825 or so, that was actually used in the land office here and would have been an early form of copying of written materials. So we're going to talk a little history of the object as well as the process that the letterpress undertook in order to help the business move along. So the letterpress was an early tool used by printers and other people working within the written word to reproduce documents, essentially, or books or other paper products that have writing on them. Now, the one we have here is a small version of that, and because they could be very, very large depending on how big paper they had to use and how much they had to use them. But the letterpress was a very important tool to the Holland Land Office, as they dealt with a lot of paperwork, as you can expect when selling to thousands of people and dealing with millions of acres worth of land. There's a lot of red tape and paperwork that goes into it, and you have to create duplicates of it in order to give that to the individual, keep it here, send it to Amsterdam, or send it even to the individual offices in the other counties that the land office operated in. But this letterpress, very simple machine actually. It was basically meant to push the papers together in order to get the ink from the document onto a sheet that would then be used to put it onto other paper. So how it worked is you would write out your document, but you would make sure to use water-soluble ink, and then you would put that on the press, and then you put a piece of semi-translucent paper, often called rice paper, on top of that. And then you would put a damp, not wet, but damp piece of felt on top of that. And then you would take the handle here and press it down. And it's hard to kind of tell, but the bottom piece pushes up against the top piece, and you would have basically a sandwich of paper in between here. And the moisture from the felt would permeate the paper and put the ink onto the rice paper. And then you would, once that was completely pressed, you'd let it go, and you could let it set for a minute, let the ink set, and then you had on the rice paper your duplicate copy that you could then put onto other paper by doing the same process. So this is before we had computers or typewriters or even microfilm or any of that. This was the way you created new documents from previously written ones. Now at this size, this letterpress could handle all the correspondence pieces as well as any legal or letter size pieces that the land office had to use. Now if they were looking for bigger things, even some of the ledgers, if they had to recreate that, they probably wouldn't use this machine, would find something bigger or go to a outside print source to do that. But this would handle a lot of the things that were done in everyday office work here at the land office, and other businesses and even some homes would have something like this if they needed it. But this was your copy machine of the early 19th century. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of the Holland Land Office Museum's Artifact Video Series and learned a little bit more about how the letterpress works and its importance to 19th century business, especially here at the Holland Land Office. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to check out the rest of them on our channel, Holland Land Office Museum, and give any that you like a thumbs up, or even subscribe to the channel, as it helps us out a little bit but gets you notified ever quicker when we release new material. But as always, the best way to come and learn about artifacts like the letterpress here is to stop by the museum and see for yourself, as we'll be happy to share even more information than what you just get in these videos.